Now, if you've been following the channel for a bit, you would know that I like to compete in 3-hour game jams, where you only have 3 hours to create a game. Pretty self-explanatory. Like that one, run out of space. Yeah, I've done this a few times. And while I enjoy these kinds of competitions, I wanted to step it up a notch. Or maybe a few notches. Or a whole bunch of notches. Because I am doing a 10-day competition. Which is like a lot more time than a 3-hour competition. Now, the last time I wanted to fully commit to a game idea was like never. So it'll be interesting to see what I can do with a full form project like this one. So I started where all great projects do and opened up Unity and got to work. So the first step to creating the game was making a plan. I decided to use Trello, which is a type of task list board that a lot of other YouTubers I've seen use. And I started planning out some things that I had to do to finish the game. But Zinduck, what game are you going to make? Shut up, dude, this is my channel, get out of here. But good question. I'm going to make a game heavily inspired by Enter the Gungeon. I played this game a lot when I was younger, and I've beaten it because I'm a legendary gamer. So I really wanted to make a game inspired by it. The story behind my game is that the main character, Allie the alligator, created AI technology, and the AI eventually went rogue and determined the only way to save Earth was to destroy all humans. Obviously, Allie wasn't all for that plan, so she decides to defeat the robots she once created. To start the project, I created a white square to be the temporary main character. Now, I pretty much finished the game after that, but I decided to keep working to make it even better. After that, I got the artist on my team, a cool dog, to send me the sprite for the shotgun, and I made it so that it would rotate around the character, following the mouse, so that it would be able to shoot stuff in the future. Then, I very quickly got the player movement, shooting, and enemy animation all done pretty quickly. Because I'm using someone else as my artist instead of doing it myself, I have to wait to do some parts of the game until my teammate has finished the art for a specific part. With all this working, I thought the natural next step was to give the enemy robots the ability to shower the main player with bullets. I mean, it is a bullet hell after all. So yeah, maybe the robots are spawning a little too many bullets, and I have a little bit of strength in numbers, but I'll probably fix this to be more balanced. I also added in a few tracks to the game to improve the game's vibe, so I'm just going to be playing those tracks in the background for the rest of the video. My next step was improving the player's shooting mechanic. Originally, it was going to just be like a normal pistol, but I thought it would be much cooler and more awesome if the character shot a shotgun at their enemies. After setting up the arc length and randomizing the bullet speeds, it looked pretty good. I also started messing around with the bullet spawner add-on, because during the duration of the jam, we were allowed to use the Bullet Fury mod, which is normally $20, so obviously I was going to take advantage of this free asset. I started using this mod to design some boss patterns, and I started coming up with some cool looking patterns, and wow, just look how beautiful that is. Oh my god, what happened? No! Yeah, I think I forgot to mention that the Bullet Fury mod is in development. So at the start of the competition, there were a lot of bugs and issues with it. But with a few bug fixing updates, the game started to work good, and the pattern was working. Now, this next change that I added to the game might be the best thing I decided to add. Are you ready? You versus the guy she tells you not to worry about. Yeah, big difference. Amazing what a bit of post-processing effects can get you in game development. Next, my teammate finally sent over some animations for the main character, so I was able to throw those together and put them into a script to make it so that it controls the character depending on the direction you are aiming the reticle. I then added in a health bar for the main character so that you would be able to know how much health you had, which is pretty important because that might be a little hard to track when you have 100 hit points. Now, if you didn't notice, this game is ugly as crap. Get out of here. So I decided to start designing some background rooms using this asset pack online. Here are two of the rooms that I decided to design as a sort of test, so that I would be able to see if I vibed with it or not. And I think it looks really good with that. If you couldn't notice, I also added a little circle light around the main character, and I think that it overall adds to the vibe of the game. Also, do you remember when I told you about the bullet add-on that we were using? Well, it seems there is a bit of an issue, because believe it or not, this is not the pattern that I was going for. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that. Now, here's the complete dungeon room layout. I originally wanted to make a few prefabs of the room layouts and pick one at random, but there's an issue with the enemy pathfinding when changing rooms, so I had to scrap the idea and stick with one room setup, which is the one you're looking at. Now, I want to talk to you guys about the 80-20 rule. This rule states that 80% of results are from 20% of causes. For example, this game that I made in 3 hours looks good and is very playable, and this game that I made in 40 hours doesn't look that much better. But it's all the small details that you don't notice that really make the game better. For example, this slight camera movement when moving the mouse around will probably not be noticed by most, but it's still an addition to the game that I'm happy that I spent time adding. The next step was making it so that the doors will close behind you when entering a room, as well as spawning the enemies, aka the red and blue boys. Then I would need to open the doors after defeating each of the enemies. I also started working on enemy attacks and movement, and as you can see, it's working flawlessly. Okay, maybe the movement speed should be lowered a little bit. So there's the finished red boy attack pattern and movement, and here's the finished blue boy attack pattern. I also added a bunch of random small things that I'll go over in sort of rapid fire style. Main menu, pause menu, speedrun timer, death animation, and a death menu. The final thing this game needs is a super challenging final boss. Now, as per typical fashion, I like to make my game super challenging so that if anyone had the guts to attempt to beat it, they would either be disappointed that they failed or proud that they could. That is why I made this big boss, Reggie. He is very annoying. He has 3 attacks: the squiggle, the slash, and the smash, The issue with this boss is most of his attacks have 0 startup lag, and it becomes annoying if he hits you with combos like a squiggle slash, because it's basically unavoidable. After I finish the game, here's the completed jam submission page along with the final gameplay. On top of that, here is the final ratings of my game in the jam. A total of 360 people competed in the jam, and I placed number 257. Unfortunately, my score was docked a lot because I didn't end up posting a playable web file, meaning it was only playable with a download, which caused my game to get played less. But I would have placed 179th without the handicap, which isn't too bad. Obviously, the game is completely free, and you can check it along with the other games that I've made in the description of the video down below. Make sure to smash subscribe if you liked the video, and also consider joining my Discord server in the description if you don't want to miss out on our super cool community. Thank you very much for watching the video all the way to this point. If you liked it, totally like the video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.